Coming to the stage from Jacksonville, Florida. Give it up for DooDoo Brown.
Most overhyped comedian.
Overhyped?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're getting too much hype that they don't deserve.
Goddamn right.
That they don't deserve.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't that funny.
In your opinion, yeah.
People of African descent go back hundreds of years in Mexico, but as a group, Afro-Mexicans are largely invisible. A 2015 census is changing that. CCTV's Frank Contreras has insight from Mexico's southern state of Oaxaca.
Among Afro-Mexican communities here on the Pacific coast of Mexico's Oaxaca state, this dance is symbolic. Locals say the devils represent the growing power of African descendants in this part of Latin America. It's a history that's beginning to gain global attention. The presence of Africa here in Oaxaca state is one of the lesser-known aspects of the vast cultural diversity in this region, one of the most culturally diverse in all of Latin America. Last year, for the first time, the government conducted an interim census asking Mexicans, based on your culture, history, and traditions, do you consider yourself black, meaning Afro-Mexican or Afro-descendant? And nearly 1.4 million people responded, yes. Afro-Mexican communities exist here in Oaxaca state's Costa Chica region, the neighboring state of Guerrero, and Veracruz state, among others. An Afro-Mexican leader from Pinotepa Nacional says, as a nation, Mexico is much more than just a mixture of Spanish and indigenous people.
We believe that the whole world should know that in the colonial era, Mexico was an entry point for African slaves. Our ancestors were forcibly brought here under slavery.
But images of African descendants in Mexico rarely appear in public. The exception is this famous comic book character, Memín Penguin, which was created in the 1940s. Nicomedes Ramirez and her cousin, Castula Silva, grew up in these impoverished coastal communities. Ramirez says over the years, politicians have come with their electioneer promises to end poverty.
They told us they would help, and they would bring us basic things we were lacking. All we had to do was ask, but so far, they have done nothing for us.
I never went to school because when I was a girl, there was no school here. We had to go to another community, and my parents, may they rest in peace, told me I could not go, so I never studied.
Afro-Mexican communities are almost completely separated from the rest of Mexico, and very few outsiders ever come here for a first-hand look at their most well-known traditions, like this dance known as a chilena, or this one depicting a charging bull. Mexico's national constitution is the only one in Latin America that does not specifically mention the existence of citizens of African descent. Afro-Mexican authorities say they're planning to take legal action and change the constitution so that it includes them.
By having no presence in the Mexican Constitution, there is no public policy that protects our rights and necessities. We, as Afro-Mexicans, like many indigenous Mexicans, live in regions of extreme marginalization.
Constitutional recognition would finally give them access to medical services, educational grants, and social security benefits. For now, Afro-Mexicans, whose descendants came from places like Kenya, the Congo, and later the Caribbean, still do not enjoy these basic rights. Frank Contreras, CCTV, on the Costa Chica in Mexico's southern state of Oaxaca.
La arpa ya no
Esa era la fuente de ingresos de los viejitos. Ya me despido, pelo más pecho de azar.
En México no se quería reconocer la tercera raíz. Solamente hablábamos de españoles y de indígenas. Quiso ocultar, yo le llamo en el patio trasero de la historia, a los afro. Vimos ahí la oportunidad de poder empezar a trabajar sobre el reconocimiento del pueblo afromexicano. Nosotros entendemos que si el gobierno nos reconoce, habremos de tener recursos para invertir en la investigación, en la difusión de la cultura. Hay muchas cosas que conservar, como la chilena. La chilena, que nació de la guitarra y de los viajeros sudamericanos que comerciaban con México. Hay muchas cosas que conservar, como la chilena. La chilena, que nació de la guitarra y de los viajeros sudamericanos que comerciaban con México. Hay muchas cosas que conservar, como la chilena. La chilena, que nació de la guitarra y de los viajeros sudamericanos que comerciaban con México. Hay muchas cosas que conservar, como la chilena. La chilena, que nació de la guitarra y de los viajeros sudamericanos que comerciaban con México. Sin embargo, los guerrerenses la transformaron en una música única.
Samarqueña de mi vida, samarqueña de mi amor.
Mi nombre es Eulalio Gallardo.
Mi vida yo te
Empecé
quisiera,
yo
pero
con esta
que te
música
mantengo,
a la edad
mi
de
vida
10
yo
años.
te quisiera, pero con que te mantengo, solo que comas zacate, como una burra que tengo, samarqueña.
Mi abuelo Eduardo
de mi vida,
fue el
samarqueña de mi amor.
que le dio más importancia a eso. Don Eduardo tocaba su música, sus hijos Don Eduardo con mi papá y sus hermanos. Yo ya me estoy nombrando la quinta generación. Yo con mis hijos.
Dice, a mí me nombran el pato, patito, porque vivo entre los secos. A mí me nombran el pato, patito, porque vivo entre los secos. Luego que me ven el patito, ya viene el pato culeco. Luego que me ven
Como raza negra, más que un negro mestizo de aquí de la región, lo que es la costa. Llegaron los negros, llegaron a todo lo que es la costa, volteaban a salir de la pesca, volteaban la canoa y bailaban arriba de ella.
el patito, ya viene el pato culeco.
Y así hemos tratado de alimentar esto, conservarlo. Es un ingreso que nos va a dar riqueza. Eso es lo que nos gusta. Y nos dejó nuestro abuelo, nos dejó su tradición de él. Vamos a ver que de esto hay que continuar, esto va a caminar.
Go home, take a trip to Africa. All right, it's that time. At least take a trip.
You know what I'm saying? Which I plan on doing pretty soon as possible, soon as I'm in the right position. Look, you know what I'm saying? Try to connect over there. It's time to start building businesses over there. See if you can get some land, build a house. I'm telling you.